Many years ago when I was younger and I was first starting out on the guitar, there was no such thing as YouTube. There were no videos that you could buy. There were a few guys in my town that, where I grew up that played guitar. There were a few metal guys around, country players, whatever. And whenever you talked about blues rhythm guitar, everybody would show you the exact same thing. Which is fine. But I didn't know how to articulate at the time. I would say stuff like, well, what about the guys who play this stuff in between, the rhythm? And they'd say, in between, what do you mean? And then they would do something like... They'd start going into the pentatonic scale. I'd say, no, not that. But the thing is, I was probably the only guy at that time that I knew in my area who was listening to guys like Lightnin' Hopkins. And I love to draw on Lightnin' Hopkins because his stuff is so simple. But at the time I didn't know how to articulate as a beginner what he was doing and what other players like him were doing. Which was they were soloing with chords, they were doing fills in between in their rhythm, and I see a lot of people on here and they teach this. Whenever you look up a video, on blues rhythm. Okay, that's cool. But what about the stuff in between? And that's what I want to talk about. Not that I still don't know a lot about it, but the little bit that I do know about it, I'd like to teach to you. And so this is going to be a series of licks, dealing mostly in the key of E, and then I'm going to go to the key of A, and then I'm also going to do a shuffle rhythm. So a shuffle rhythm in the key of E, in the key of A, and a shuffle rhythm in the key of B, which might seem like a weird key on the acoustic to play a shuffle, but we're going to do it anyway. So I'm going to break it down. I'm going to show you where to play, different places to play the shuffle rhythm, and stuff to play in between, like chord solos and fills. So the key of E. So get yourself tuned up. That's my low E. This is I played this guitar before. This is my National wood body Triolean. You can use any old acoustic guitar tuned to standard tuning. So we know our E chord. We know our A7 chord. Our B7 chord. And our E7 chord. We're going to be using this E7 chord. So we're also going to be using our A7 chord at the 5th fret. And our A7 chord. So at the 8th, starting with your first finger on the 8th fret, 2nd string. And then I use this B7, and I'm going to be using this B7, and sometimes I'll be using this B7, which is at the 7th fret. It's a bar chord like your A. A. So this is a shuffle lick. So you want to get that accent right in between there. I'm not going to change right now. We're just going to keep doing this. Then I'm going to add in something different. I'm going to add in that E7 chord. A to a G and then back your E. So what was I doing there? I'm doing my regular shuffle lick, E shuffle lick, with an accent. For those guys of you playing with a flat pick, works the same. So try to stick it in there. And then I was adding an E7, but without the top note. So just these two strings here. Okay. And I was just thumping on this in the same time that I was doing this. So it's going. That I added was A, G, E. A, G, E. Let's add one more to it. We're going to go. What was I doing there? The same lick, and then I was adding. So 3, 4, open. Okay. I oftentimes like to use that lick to transition into when I go into the A chord. B7, A7, E. Now we're going to go into something a little bit different. For the A chord, we're going to go into this A, which is an A7. You can do this A7. You can do this A7. I like this one. You can play with all these notes in these chords. Same as when you're in the E7 up here. So in context. What was that? So rather than going like this, you can go like this. You can use the full E chord, okay? Just for a variation. A. those are variations in the key of E, playing in between this, because this by itself can get boring. So that's the key of E. That's a basic shuffle in the key of E. So you've got your E7. Okay, you've got your A7. Something else I did when I was in the A7 was when I was going. I was using these notes here. Open, second, first, second, second, 2, so open first, so back to E, B7, moving my note here to that note, back to A7, dropping it down and up. That's another little thing that I like. Or A, so you can go. You can go. Do your accent. A. What was that? Go to the A chord instead of going here. Or here, I was going to this A here, the A bar, but leaving the E string open at the top. Okay? Back to E. B7, A7, E7. What was that? Okay, fourth, the 6th string, 4th fret. A lot of times what I'll do, rather than explain exactly the string and the note and everything that my finger's going on, I'll just do it super slow, because sometimes I don't know the name of the note. To your E, to your D, or B7. So that's my turnaround. Okay? I was just going on the 5th string of the 5th fret, hitting that as I drop it down and hitting my top E string. I gotta retune. You can go all the way down, but usually before I get there, I go into the turnaround. So you have some things to play in the key of E. My next video I'm going to retune, and then I'm going to do some licks, rhythm stuff in the key of A. Okay, so now I'm back. I'm retuned as close as I can get in a short time. Now I'm going to do the shuffle rhythm and some shuffle licks in the key of A. Okay? And before we do that, though, I'm going to show you a few things that you might know, you may not know. We already learned this is our A7. This is another A7. I also use the bar chord A7, which sometimes like it. And remember, you can use all these notes here. Okay, and remember your A pentatonic is right here. So your A pentatonic, which we all know, I'm sure. A blues. A7 here. And you can also use, I also use this A here. I don't know what kind of an A that is. So I might go. Whoops. So A7, and then you just, starting on the 12th fret, these two strings right here, and your finger right there. So remember, these are on the 12th fret. This finger's here. We're a whole step apart, or a half step apart. So that's a form of an A2, I don't know what it is. This A7, you can drop it right down into your A major. Okay, you can also use your A here. I use those licks sometimes too. Okay. So, for an A blues, I might. E, D, A, E. We learned this lick before. E7. E. What was that? Anyway, I gotta go through a few things before we go on. When I went from, because rather than just doing this, I started here doing in the same timing. Robert Johnson does this a lot. So basically what I was doing here was the same as if I'd been doing it here. When I went to the D, I went to this D7 down here with my thumb, all right, and just these two notes right here at the third string, 2nd fret, 2nd string, 1st fret, and your high E string left open. And then I was just trilling on that string. That's how I do my D usually. Then I went into the regular old A. E, D. I was doing the high E string there that time too. And then I think I went. You can do that to go back into your A, or I'll just leave it there sometimes and go back into my A. And then I did this turnaround. Into the E, so that's just your high. I know that a lot of guys do it like this. I usually don't do holding both A strings. I just hold the one A, the A note at the 5th fret, and right here. So or to your 9th chord. That's a E 9th chord right there. So that's a barring all 3 of these strings and this one. So the gist of this video for the key of E and A is what I'm trying to get across to you is that you can play the shuffle in a whole bunch of different spots, or you can play licks in the shuffle timing in a whole bunch of different spots. So we've got this. We can also do that here. We can also do it here. We can also mix things up by going. D. So you can move these different chord inversions around to make your playing sound a little more melodic instead of just sitting on this all the time, which is cool, but it gets a little bit boring. So, something else that I may have touched on earlier, I can't remember. I'm always doing this constant bass thing. So if I'm in the key of A, you know, I'm always thumping on that. If I'm on the 1 chord, the A chord, and that's basically in the same timing as this most of the time. When I go to the D, this is an F sharp I'm hitting, but I could just hit the A string can work on the D chord too. So whatever key that I'm in, I'm always thumping on that bass if I'm doing a lick instead of the rhythm. So in the key of A, the chords that we need to know are A7, this A7, the full A, bar chord, the full A7 here, because we can thump here too. This E9, sharp, D9, and you can also hit that bottom. And this A, I use this A a lot too, which is leaving the E string open. This A7 here, whatever this A chord is here, I don't know. But you're doing a, instead of a down here, I had like a half step between them. Or no, yeah, a half step between them, and here I have a whole step. Okay, so those are the kind of things that we need to know in the key of A. The next video, I'm going to go into the key of B a little bit. Okay, so now we're back and we're going to be in the key of B. So we're going to be working with a B7 chord, which we already know, we've learned before. Okay, our next chord is going to be the E7 chord, which we know. We know this. Remember, all these little chords that we've learned, we can use them in this key too. So E, and then we're going to be using an F sharp 7 chord. That's our 5 chord. So it just gives something different, you know, a different key. You're not in the key of E or A. But it's going to be the same timing again, which you can change the timings up and whatever, but I'm just sticking to the shuffle time pattern. So, and I can thump on both these strings. See how I'm moving my finger? We can use this one up here. And just like in A when we were doing this, turn around here, falling down, we can do the same in B. Into our F7, okay? And we have our B pentatonic here, of course. We have our B blues scale. these extensions that we know in E and A, they all apply in this key. So, and we have our B chord here, so we can use this one or we can use this one. And I'm thumping on that, the low notes again. We can use this E too. So we have our three chords here, E7, we can thump on that bass note. We have our E7, so we can do our shuffle like this, like we learned before. Okay. Anyway, so that's the key of B. So now what we're going to do is I was going to end the video and then I thought, you know what, I'm going to do one more key. We're going to go into the key of G. Okay? Do the same timing and use a bunch of licks that we already learned, but transpose them into the key of G. Alright, so you're going to be able to play the blues with a monotonic bass and the basic shuffle in the key of E, the key of A, the key of B, and using your B7 chord, and the key of G. A lot of people get stuck in E and A. I know that I was for a long time too. So in the key of G, we know our G chord, I'm assuming. We know our G7 chord, which is down here. You lift this finger. Our C, our C7, our D, our D7. We know this D7 as well. Okay, there's a C7 here. D7 here. Okay, we have our G7 here. So we did this G7. We know this G7. We know this G7. And when I say we know this, maybe you don't know them, but I'm showing them to you. And you've learned them in other keys, so you can transpose them. This is a G7. This is a G7. This is a D and a D7. This is a D7. Okay. This is a D7. D9, C9, like we learned the E9 up here. So, and we know our scale. Now, what's interesting in the key of G is that we have an open triad right here. This is a G chord, these three strings, open. So you can thump on this. What I do is put my thumb here. C7. You can switch that bass up. You can add your G there too, in your C chord, make it more interesting. G7, D7, and then remember our turnaround in A? Well, now we're going to do it in G. down to a ninth. And what I was doing up here was, remember when we were in the key of A and we were moving up here up to this weird A? Well, we're doing the same thing in G. Into our G chord. And then we've got all these licks like we learned in A. Okay, so we have our scale. And then we have our G chord over top of the scale, so we can use that. Sorry, I screwed up. Sorry. C is supposed to be going into C, not D. So here what I was doing was going because we have a C here, we can also do our shuffle here. Remember, we can do our G here. D, C. Well, we can do that here in G. Or we can do it here. We can do all those same licks that we were doing in A, but now we have an open. So a lot of the things we learned in the key of A, we're transposing them down to the key of G. Plus we have this open triad, which before, that would have been like, if we were in the key of A, that would have been, you would have had to fret that. But now we're in the key of G. This little lick I was doing here, you can also use that as a turnaround. Okay? Or here. Okay? So, and then we can do these open. So we're thumping. G7. C. Also like to do is I play slide guitar in standard tuning often. So the key of G is a great key to make it sound like you're actually in an open tuning. Okay? So if you're playing slide guitar in standard tuning in the key of G, it's kind of sounds like you're in the key of, I'm going to use this slide because it makes a little less racket. So it makes it sound like you're in the key of open G. So you can play in your scale with your slide. So anything that you know, you can also play that with your slide. Only you have that open triad. Okay, so you have those. So remember, those three are an open or a G chord, and then if you just put that down. Sorry. Something else that I'll touch on briefly is the key of G. Well, any key is good for alternate bass, but the key of G especially, I like to play alternate bass. So you can use all these positions with an alternate bass instead. See how I'm doing that? Because this is a G note. This is a G note, and then you're fretting a G note. Or no, I'm sorry, this is a D note. Your G notes here. That's what I wanted to get at. So there's a little bonus I tagged on at the end in the key of G. So anyway, my hope is that being able to play the shuffle, rhythm, and some licks in the key of E, A, B, and G will help you to better express yourself. And when you learn these licks, even though I'm not the greatest guitar player, but if you learn this stuff, when you listen to recordings of the older guys, you will hear some of this stuff and know exactly what they're doing. And something else I'd like to say, especially about the key of E and A and G, I mean, with all these, the pentatonic stuff especially, a lot of this stuff translates very well to the electric guitar. So you can play it on the electric or the acoustic guitar, okay? And you can also play it, I've played it all slow and in one time, basic timing, the shuffle timing, but you can play it fast. Okay, so once you learn all those licks, I just want you to learn those voicings and everything, and you'll be able to play kind of all over the neck. And so I hope that this helped. Thanks for watching.